Hi, I'm Alan Ross. We're here at the RE Plus Conference and Exposition. We're talking to thought leaders about the future of the energy economy. So join us and enjoy. My next guest is Joley Michaelson. I have been really looking forward to do this because somebody we interviewed said, you need to interview Joley, and I thought, oh my goodness, there's something special about her. But I know you were the CEO of the Sun Company. We've done an interview, so we know a lot about the Sun Company, but that could have been shown two weeks ago, a month from now, or whatever, so we're going to kind of start over.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about what the Sun Company does and how it relates to the renewables industry.
Yeah, so the mission of the Sun Company is to optimize and democratize energy through the acceleration of the mass adoption of renewable energy.
And she didn't have cheat cards to do that with. I really love them. See, I love that. You are a CEO, and they tend to start with mission and vision and why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Now, I do want you to know that Kevin did mention something about that, but he didn't get it down like you got it down, okay? So
it's very important to me.
So the idea, we've talked about decarbonization a lot, digitalization, all the, but democratization, okay, that's an interesting term, meaning we'd like to give the power to the consumer.
That's right.
All right?
That's right.
So how does the Sun Company go about doing that?
So we do that in a couple of different ways. The Sun Company has three divisions. We have our RE Solutions division, our RE Tech division, and our RE Grid division. And our goal is to service all end users along the continuum, down to the smallest residential end user, all the way up to the largest industrial end user. We are laying a renewable energy grid in parallel to the macro grid that exists today.
Okay.
Those customers, we are creating an energy exchange for that will allow them to transact energy in the future, which democratizes energy. We're also driving the cost down by creating technologies that have abundant raw materials, which will allow us to drive the cost down and make it more accessible for those.
Abundant raw materials. Give me an example of an abundant raw material.
Zinc.
Oh, zinc, for the old zinc bromine battery type thing that's happening there.
Yeah.
How are you involved in zinc?
We are developing a battery, a redox flow battery in our RE Tech division that is zinc-based battery. That is a zinc-based battery.
And zinc is common in the world, as common as copper?
Common as copper.
Yeah,
yes.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big problems. That's a problem at utility scale in a big way, because if you take a utility scale battery system and you make it out of lithium ion batteries, how many cell phones could we charge up, right?
Yeah.
So the idea of the problems, the idea of taking a zinc bromine, or is that the kind of battery you're working on?
It's not a zinc bromine, but it is a zinc-based technology.
Okay, zinc-based technology. But that's going to solve a huge problem that the whole industry has with lithium is now, it's now a problem, and it's going to be a much bigger problem in the future, so avoiding that is great.
Yeah.
I want to focus on that a little bit, because that's you're talking about democratization, that's really a bulk storage solution, correct?
That's right, yeah. But again, serving the residential homeowner all the way up to the largest industrial utility customer.
Do you think that we will ever have kind of a zinc technology battery system for homes?
Absolutely. I believe the Sun Company will have a zinc-based technology battery system for the homes.
That's going to change everything.
Yeah.
That's excellent. That's really good to hear. Because the big problem right now at the residential level, you can have an electric car, and you can have sunroof, solar on your rooftop. But if you don't know how to store it, or you don't have a storage, and so you buy the Tesla wall, you buy the Generac, you buy whatever it is, you know what they all have in common?
Yeah, no storage.
Well, lithium.
And lithium.
And well, that's because they're lithium, right? And so you don't want to make it so they have more storage, because they're just using more lithium, more problems.
That's right.
There. That's a great. How soon are you close to a solution like that?
For the utility scale, 18 to 24 months, 24 to 30 months for residential.
In terms of the problem, that's like this short.
That's right.
In terms of the need and the demand, shorten it.
Yes.
Okay, we got to get that.
Everybody wants us to shorten it, right?
So that's your RE Tech Solutions. You said something else about, because information is power, right?
Yep.
If you're going to democratize, you must give information at the source. One of our previous guests talked about the node. Every household was a node, and that looking at the holistic, he was using, I mean, holistic's not a new word, but he used some Bayesian theoretical stuff saying from the utility down to the whole, it's just one.
Yeah.
It is. It's just one holistic.
Yeah.
But it's not. Because there's so many steps that go down.
Yeah.
Now we're a step everywhere instead of step down, go and use it out of the wall.
Yeah.
Now it's step everywhere.
Yeah.
So how is that affecting what you guys do?
Well, without storage, even that concept of that single node doesn't exist at the edge, right? Which let's call the residential side the edge. Without having a residential storage component, you don't have that concept. I agree with him that we're getting there and we will get there, but it takes storage to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's true across the thing.
Across the continuum.
Are you doing anything for data centers? Because that's another big issue, data center storage.
Yeah. So in our renewable energy grid division, or our RE grid division, we develop independent renewable energy power plants. Our first project, which is called Power Forward Tucson, is located in Tucson, Arizona. And our first customer is a hyperscale data center that will be completely powered 100% by renewable energy behind the meter power. 30 megawatts.
That's I mean, so you can't say who the company is. Okay,
no.
All right.
Yeah, and again, one of the mandates of the Sun Company from day one was to understand how we could reduce consumption before we produced energy. The other mandate was to go after high polluters, data centers, indoor agriculture, because if our goal is to accelerate the mass adoption of renewable energy, one of the ways you do that is to go after high polluters and help them find a solution that works for them. We did that.
Most people would not say that data centers are high polluters,
Yeah.
but they are.
Yeah.
Why are they high polluters? And let's not pick on the data center industry, but it's one of the fastest growing industries, right?
Yeah, and it's not meant to pick up. It's
Right.
just, it's a truth, an observation that they use a tremendous amount of power.
Right.
In fact, the only, from our research and understanding, the only ones that use more power than data centers are cannabis indoor agriculture.
I knew you were going to say that when you said indoor agriculture. I thought, okay, we're in California.
Yeah.
That's going to be an issue.
Yes, and it is going to be an issue. So right now, cannabis uses 1% of the national grid already today. So going after them and helping them find a solution with an independent renewable energy power plant that takes that pressure off the grid, gives them an effective cost solution, helps again to democratize energy. Those are the things we're after.
So I think another one is if cannabis is on one end, lettuce is on another. a lot of factories.
And guess where my home state is?
Where?
Arizona, the lettuce capital of the world. So we're going to go after that too, right?
Okay, yeah. So clean it all up. No, it's fascinating. How did the Sun Company start? How did that idea? Because you're not a 100-year-old company. You're relatively new.
Yeah, 2017.
Okay.
I left Tesla to start the Sun Company.
Ah.
I really did that for three major reasons. One, I didn't believe the business models in the renewable space was accelerating the mass adoption of renewable energy.
Okay.
If you look from 2010 to 2020, there was 100 gigawatts of solar installed and about 125 gigawatts of wind installed.
Okay.
To put that in perspective, over the next 12 to 15 years, we need to install that amount every year in order to reach our climate goals.
Yeah.
So we have to accelerate the mass adoption of renewable energy.
And that's just in U.S., North America,
That's just
right?
in the U.S. Yeah.
The war in Ukraine has fast-forwarded the problem in Europe, and the fact that they have to do it just simply because Russia said, "Oh, you won't buy our gas? We won't sell you our gas."
Exactly.
Well, now you got a problem there. So it's happening on global scale. We just interviewed somebody from Ghana, and we all deal with these kinds of mega problems, right? He and his wife wanted to start something so that they could have nurses come and treat a village.
Yeah.
They were totally off grid. And so it was what we're talking about at big scale, they're talking about at micro scale. Yeah, and it's working. And it's doing things, it's allowing them to do things that would be unheard of 20 years ago, right? And it is really quite exciting. Good time to be in this industry. So you left Tesla.
Yeah, and so to accelerate the mass adoption, I also didn't believe lithium ion was the future of stationary energy storage.
Thank you.
I didn't believe it was going to solve the problem. And so that was another major reason that I started the Sun Company. And the third reason is I wanted to be what I call living, breathing example of capitalism 2.0, where you infuse a values-based relationship organization back at the forefront of capitalism.
So we have a secret. When I do this, that means what? Capitalism 2.0, talk about that.
So I believe we've come to a point in society where capitalism has become a zero-sum game. And in order for you to win, I have to lose.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a lot of value extraction that occurs. And so what we've created is what I call stakeholder aligned, right? You hear that term now quite a bit, but 5 years ago when I started the company, you didn't hear that.
Yeah.
And our goal is to create stakeholder alignment versus shareholder supremacy. We are a public benefit corporation. We can make decisions through the lenses of people, power, planet, without profit being the main objective, while still being a primary driver and objective for us.
You know, ESG has helped. I'm on a mutual fund board.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago, well, definitely 20 years ago, but even 10 years ago, the number one thing the companies that we purchased, or our managers, we don't purchase anything, we manage, was shareholder return.
Yep.
Then ESG came along, and now you can say, hey, no, we're about this. And if that negatively impacts